the trauma you revealed on that porch, Jason, especially, you know, the sexual abuse as a child, was that the first time you'd really opened up about that? What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Mountain Tough Podcast. I am your host, Dustin Diefendorfer, and we are so glad that you are here. It is our goal every single episode to bring you an inspiring guest that helps you with that mental toughness, that mental health, that mental fitness, so that you can stay dangerous. If you are a brand new listener to this show, quickly, I do want to make sure you know, as a listener, you get 6 weeks free of Mountain Tough. All you need to do to take advantage of that is go to MTNTOUGH.com, click Start Free Trial, and enter the code MOUNTAINPOD. That's MTNPOD, all caps, all one word. That gets you 6 weeks for free of Mountain Tough Plus. Shifting gears now to today's episode. On the show today, we have two guests. This came from Hook and Barrel magazine. Our friend John Radzwilla is the founder, and they just released a new film called Skate or Die. So John connected with pro skateboarder Jason Ellis, and they went out on a coyote hunt. The film kind of took a turn. It was supposed to be a film about a skateboarder, a former pro skateboarder going coyote hunting, and then it quickly turned into a testimony of how the outdoors, hunting, brotherhood of hunting, Mother Nature, vitamin D can be a therapeutic part of overcoming trauma, overcoming addiction. We're going to sit down today and unpack how that happened and hear from Jason himself how hunting helped him overcome some of his former past struggles of drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and sexual abuse as a child. So please stand by for Jason Ellis and John Radzwilla. I've known John for a while now, several years, and it's been awesome to get to know him. And we've done a lot through the business together and a lot through some of our hobbies together. But how did you guys unite? How did that story begin?
Well, I was looking to put together a video series for nighttime hunting, predator hunting. And as always, I'm always trying to think outside the box, like what can we do and what can we combine that will basically cross communities? And we were at SHOT Show, and I don't even know how it came up. We're like, we should do like a skate video meets predator hunting. And I reached out to Jared Taylor at Black Rifle Coffee, and I was like, JT, do you know anybody? And he goes, well, I know like Wee Man. He skateboards. I'm like, I don't know. Not sure if that's going to make for very good TV. And he's like, I'm like, I saw you were with Bam. He's like, nah, nope, probably shouldn't be around guns right now. I'm like, okay. And he's like, dude, Jason Ellis, like he's a real skateboarder. And I'm like, that's awesome. So I obviously looked into Jason and,
for the record, both those guys you mentioned, they're real skateboarders. Just, I have to clarify because people are going to hear this.
Okay.
Those guys are also real skateboarders.
Okay, that you're probably true. Thank you for protecting me against the skateboarders. As an inliner, I don't need my ass kicked again.
You had it coming, inliner.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's how we got connected. He reached, we connected, and I'm like, hey, let's go to Utah. And my buddy Brian out there has an awesome place, and he volunteered it for us and put us up in his cabin, and we started letting the cameras roll. But what was so amazing is I didn't know the depth of Jason's story when this started. And I think what made it so awesome was the natural progression of how you learn about somebody through the time you spend with them in the field and the down times when you're sitting there and you're just talking or in your truck or you're spotting or whatever. And that's kind of how it all started unfolding. And when I learned more, I was like, this is an incredible story that if we do this right, could make impact on a lot of different people who may have gone through the same kind of struggles.
Yeah.
And just one of my initiatives is always create social value. Like what are we really putting out there? Like, does this make sense? Or are we just out there to stroke the egos of sponsors and advertisers. And in this case, I'm like, this is art. This is just not a hunting film.
Yeah, super unique. I've gone through it several times now, and the unique angle of the therapeutic nature of hunting is pretty fascinating, because even Mountain Tough, with the way that we've communicated to our community over the last handful of years, is kind of exactly what you laid out in the film, of how some pretty deep trauma can just be healed by Mother Nature, and it doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing or what you're hunting. It's the elements of vitamin D, the outdoors. Unknown things are going to come your way, which is rare in 2025, where surprises always happen in the field. And when you combine all those ingredients, all this magical stuff starts to happen, and you can catch glimpses of that in the film, which is super rad. Jason, had you been out on hunts before, or was this your first experience?
No, I used to hunt when I was a kid in Australia. That was not, I mean, I guess it was a long time ago, so technology has changed, but also I grew up hunting in Australia where you just don't have the tools that are available in this country. Because the first thing I noticed was like, what's that? What's this? Wait, you guys have like predator goggles? Are you crapping? Like, I can see in the night and see like things that are heated. It was what we had. We had a tractor seat welded on the bull bar of a car, and one of us would sit on that, and the other people would have spotlights, and whatever came towards the spotlight, we shot it and ate it. So
Little
watching these
different.
guys, I was like, whoa, this is so much cheating. Like he got like caught. We were just really, it was a different, it's weird. It was a drinking party hunting thing. So I only knew that that was kind of what hunting was to me. It was you drink and hunt. And it
Mm-hmm.
was watching people that were, I mean, I guess the same thing, like around the campfire and stuff, there was still, conversations, people being real. So there was that kind of community. And I always loved that. It's a weird thing. I was a nature kid. I loved being out in the bush. I was in the rivers and I was always like that. And then when skateboarding consumed me, I became a street, from the streets, the cities, getting, not scuffing your shoes and not having your t-shirt stretched out, but I came from a background where, I wore the same t-shirt all weekend and I didn't even know what color it was. I definitely switched teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then going back to hunting, I've gone through a lot, man. There's a lot of like even now from when the movie was being made to now.
Yep.
Like if you had said, "Hey, Jason, you're going back to Utah to live," I'd be like, "No way. No, I have no interest in that." And now, it's a gradual thing. I became infatuated with horses. 2 years ago, if you had said like you're going to hang out with horses all the time, I'd be like, "Why?" Like I don't have a problem with horses, but I don't. I love them. I live to hang out with them now. I'm sort of going back to where I was when I was a kid when it comes to being in nature and hunting. Like I never thought I'd go back to that. I thought that that was the thing that I did when I was a kid, but I see now that there's a different way that these things go. I look at everything so much different. It's still constantly evolving. Every week I'm like, I don't even know who that guy was last week. A lot of things are changing in my life. People that follow me, some people are very mad at that, which is very confusing because I'm like, I'm very happy and content, and
Mm.
I'm not religious, but I pray to God a lot. I definitely believe in a higher power, and a lot of my fans find that to be offensive, which is surprising. I'm like, can't you just be happy that I'm happy? Like I'm happy if you're happy. Like
Yep.
I don't understand, but I guess that's like social media.
So, well, what'd you think when John called you and reached out that first time for the invite, when he was like, "Hey, we're gonna head out to Utah"?
Yeah, this is an accident. This is not, I was like, yeah, I used to hunt. I own guns. I love shooting. I have friends that are friends with John. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like an experience. I would like to go and see how they do it these days. But I just thought that, there was maybe I was gonna have a couple of clips from a video magazine or something. I didn't really think much of it. I thought they were like, they're gonna get a skateboarder to shoot stuff. The end. I didn't, I don't think I really, even when I did the interview, I could tell when I did the interview, everybody on the balcony, they took a break and everyone was just like, holy shit, dude. And I'm like, what? And they're like, that story's crazy. And I'm like, I don't know any other story, man. Like, that's just what I am and what I'm going through. I didn't, this is all like a surprise to me. Everything is changing so fast.
Yeah.
And for the better, but I definitely didn't expect much. But becoming friends with these guys, I didn't expect that. It's all been a really cool surprise. And then to see the film, I was like, whoa. I also didn't expect that much from it, really.
John, when you were putting together the storyboard for this, you had very little understanding of the trauma that Jason had been through.
Absolutely. I mean, the storyboard was skateboarder, Salt Lake City, dead coyote. How we were getting from those things to this, there wasn't really a plan, to be honest with you. And it's probably not something I should be proud of saying, but I think just the candid nature of what we were doing led to this. And generally, a lot of things that I do and choose to do is calculated, but I let nature take its course. And I felt like, in this case, especially if we would have storyboarded this thing, like, all right, Jason, now we need to move here and we need to talk about this. And it just wouldn't have had that natural flow. And to Jason's point, like when we did the interview on the porch, I'm pretty sure right at the end when we had a pause when the cameras are overheating after 2 hours of conversation, because what you see in the film is just a fraction of what was discussed. I for one had a tear in my eye. And I know the other guys probably did too. We're like, holy shit, this is some heavy stuff. And to see Jason there in the spirit, and you see him obviously on his pod, like the kind of, I don't want to say like the healing, that the process that you've gone through, Jason, is probably far more than you even realize. I mean, somebody with that kind of story should not be in right now, like moving to Utah, starting a horse farm. Like that doesn't seem, those things generally don't happen. And you are probably one of the lucky few. And I love the fact that you told that story, because in a time where we are in America with so many traumas going on and so many just different social issues in general, to have somebody with such a bright light and such a good story. And even though we don't know the outcome, right? Because you're still in the process, but from where you were to where you are today and how that the film showed it to now moving to Utah, like I'm tickled actually. I never knew you'd be moving to Salt Lake either. That was crazy. So I'm actually looking forward to possibly like a part 2, like going back out there and you're like straight up Toby Keith in it, should have been a cowboy riding around on your buffalo, man.
There's a huge chance of that, man. That's the goal.
Next thing you know, you'll be listening to my iPad or iPod music, and
that's not gonna happen.
Mountain Tough is the fitness app trusted by the dedicated. Mountain Tough ethos is backed by, we've always wanted to be the best in the world at helping our customers become more mentally tough. So inside the Mountain Tough app, you're not only going to find all of our physical training programs, but you're going to find additional training as well so that you can stay sharp physically, mentally, spiritually, and nutritionally. The Mountain Tough app also allows you to train no matter where you are, anytime, anywhere. Additionally, the Mountain Tough app is going to have programs from beginners all the way up to elite athletes. And all of our programming is structured in a way that you can start with no gear at body weight, and you can go all the way up to programming that is full gear. So you can do that in a robust home gym or your local gym. There's no excuse for you not to start today. With Mountain Tough, you can conquer your goals with the ideal program for your lifestyle and schedule. Train with equipment or just your body weight on your phone, tablet, TV, or web browser. Most importantly, Mountain Tough will help you train your mindset so you are always ready for anything life throws your way. Mountain Tough is offering the Mountain Tough podcast listeners an incredible offer. 6 weeks free on the Mountain Tough app. All you need to do is use the code MTNPOD to redeem your 6 weeks of training. That'll be a 14-day free trial plus a whole additional 4 weeks of training. Just go to mountaintough.com and enter code MTNPOD for your 6 weeks free on the best-in-class physical and mental training app. Yeah, the trauma you revealed on that porch, Jason, especially, the sexual abuse as a child, was that the first time you'd really opened up about that?
I've discussed it before on my radio show, but with sobriety, where you don't run anymore and you face all these things that I've been running from since I was a child. I've been smoking weed since I was like 11. And, when I first started drinking when I was a little kid, it was special to me. And looking back and understanding the way everybody else operates, alcohol was such a relief to me. I think more, I get it. People that have addiction problems, but when it hit me, I was finally out of my head, and I could really run from facing any of that. And I think it was at such a young age that trauma, your body can shut it off. Like I didn't know that I was molested until I was like, in my 20s, early 20s, and I took a lot of drugs one night and had an imaginary friend tell me this horrific story while my girlfriend watched the conversation. And I don't remember it. And then the next day I started to remember it, and she called my mother, and my mother was like, I thought he forgot that. I thought he was too young to remember it. So like suppressing all these things and then drinking and using kept it suppressed. So little bits would come out and I'd realize it, which would make me use even more because I would just run from that stuff. And then to run from it for 30 years and then finally get sober, because that was the scariest part. When I got sober, it all come flooding to me
Yeah.
in the worst kind of ways. But because I was sober and willing to make, I am strong-willed. I am a determined person. So when those things hit me and I really wanted to run again, I didn't. I sat there and I took it and I faced it and I accepted it. I understood the reasons people did the things they did and the way I reacted to it. So I sat with it a lot. For probably took like a year and a half really to kind of, because I accepted it, but I still had resentment towards people that had anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And then with more work, because that's the thing with, when you're in this sobriety thing, like it's not just like, I don't do it anymore. Bye. Like you got to do the work. I do it every day and becoming, accepting people's wrongs and forgiving them and then forgiving myself. That was the hardest thing, forgiving myself for reacting in ways where I put it on other people. My addictive personality and drinking and using hurt the people that I cared about. And that was like, surprisingly, that one was the hardest one to like forgiving people for doing things to me sexually when I was a child. That was easier to forgive than me for like cheating on my ex-wife. And I'm like, you could have all these excuses because of where I came from and what happened, but I just couldn't get past doing that to the people that I care about, not being there as much as I could be for my kids. Like I've always been a good dad. My kids love me, but there were times there where I was like, I can't wait for them to go so that I can get high. And it used to eat me, because I'm like, man, you could have been better, And it's like being good at skateboarding. I could have been the best skateboarder in the world. That eats me. But being a father is way more important than being a good skateboarder, and I could have done better. And all those things would eat me and make me want to use again, which is why I just had to keep refreshing myself on what has happened and what I have done and what people have done and had to re-forgive them because you forget.
Mm.
Then when I finally sort of got past it all, I started to be, I liked me. And that made me happy with nothing, which was a thing that I was also very scared of, like having accolades, people thinking that I'm special was how another thing that I used to run. It's another addictive tool. If I can't drink, then I'll do something cool on a skateboard, or I'll say something funny. I'll do something that goes viral on social media, like I'll get paid a lot of money. All those things were things that I would use to make myself feel like I was worthy of love, you know?
Affirmation. Yeah. Just
And
searching affirmation.
when I finally was like, no, man, with nothing, you're just a good guy and your friends and your family can count on you. And that's all that matters. Then all that stuff just disappeared. So now to me, talking about that stuff, it's still hard. It's hard to hear it. You know, when I feel sorry for my mom when she hears stuff about my childhood because she's still around and she's like, oh man, my son went through all this stuff, but it's not her fault. You know, she did the best she could. So I don't want her to feel guilty about any of it. But telling the story, I just know from telling the story, people reach out to me and it helps people think that they can get past it because you can.
Mm.
I'm not saying it's easy. It's the same with alcohol and drugs, like getting sober. It's not easy. You know, I'm not like, hey man, just go to a meeting and you'll be fine. Like that's not what's gonna happen. It's gonna suck. You know, but that's the same with like, I want to be a pro skateboarder. You don't just go shake someone's hand and then Tony Hawk gives you a skateboard. Like that's not how it works. You gotta like do the work. You're gonna fail. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna go to hospital. Like those ones, it's the same as like life lessons where you're going to get hurt. You're going to get your heart broken. You're going to hurt people and feel guilty about it. You're going to get fired from your job and feel the fear of like not being able to pay the rent. Like this is life.
Yeah.
But I feel like sharing the story, especially now, people are running more than ever because they feel the pressure of the world because we're all watching, it's social media, news, whatever, however we get it. And it looks like we're all sinking. And when you start feeling that way, you want to turn to a bottle or turn to social media or dating, whatever it is that you're thing, even eating too much crappy food. Like it's that little, people don't catch it all. So that's my only thing these days is the only reason I still stay in this game is to help one person. That's what I tell myself. It doesn't matter. A million people, would that be great? My ego thinks that would be great. But I also know that my ego is no friend of mine. So like if I can help one person, that's
Mm.
awesome. And if I can share my story and it makes me susceptible to people that want to attack me for being open about things that have happened in my life, because they're not all that glorious.
Mm.
I can take that. God has built me to take that so that I can help one person. So I
When,
do it.
when did the sobriety journey start for you?
2 years.
So are you 2 years sober now?
2 years and 10 days.
And
Wow.
through that journey, is that the first time in your life you acknowledged a higher power?
Yeah. Yeah, because I've always hated religion. My father was against it. My father used to say, if God's real, strike me dead right now. And then he'd go, see, he's not real.
Hmm.
And I was a little kid and I was like, hey, good point. Like, and then also the things that I realized when I was younger, the things that had happened to me in my childhood. And I'm like, if God's real and he's watching, why would he let that happen to me? Like, if he is real, I don't like him. Like, he put me through stuff that's just not fair. Like, I don't see how that's fair for a child to go through that many things and have that many adults abuse them in that kind of a way. It's just not fair. So I was so angry towards it that I used to say that it's not real because I thought that people that believed in it would hear me say that and find that offensive. And that's what I was trying to do, trying to be offensive, which looking back, I was like, you keep being so spiteful towards it. If it's not real, why would you be spiteful towards it? You know, because I think there was a part of me that always kind of believed there was always something that was always trying to direct me into better decisions. And I've always like this is a it's just my terminology, but there's always been an angel and a devil on my shoulder, and I didn't know which voice was which until I got sober. And I definitely answered to the dark one a lot more, where it was like, do that, party here, and do this.
Mm,
And I lived a life of evil because evil was cool. I was like being a badass,
mm,
being scary, being tough. Evil worked with that. It sounded like it came together. I was feared. You know what I mean? When I skated, people were like, man, he's fearless. And I'm like, yeah. But in actual fact, I can admit it now. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of everything. The only difference is I will face my fears. I've always sort of challenged myself, but I believe that I'm more scared than the average man. Like fighting, all that stuff. I'm very scared of it. It's just one of those things where I acknowledge the fear and I can't live running, which is so funny because when I got sober, I was like, yeah, man, you're fearless when it comes to fighting and like doing dangerous shit, but you're too scared to look at yourself sober in the mirror. Like the
yeah,
biggest one is the one you're the most scared of. So
that's crazy, man.
once I got it going, it snowballed, got bigger and bigger. And I just look back, I see the big picture a lot now where I step back and go, whoa, what, dude? No, like you don't do that. You don't associate with that anymore. This person's talking a certain way. I'm like, I'm not mad at you because I understand where you came from, but I'm separating myself from that because that's just not how I want to live my life. All the best to you. I can tell that whatever I say is not going to help you. All the best. I'm going my way because I don't have any more time for this dark, angry at the world, bitter guy anymore. Like I just want to love stuff.
Yeah.
I want to love my friends. I want my friends to love me. If you need help, I want to help. That's what makes me feel good inside. It's just like my priorities have completely switched. But it's always been in there, but like I said, God's always been trying to help me, but I've always had a bitterness towards uh like love because I don't think I was really shown that as a child. So I don't trust it. If you try to love me, I think you're trying to do something else, you know?
Dude, you got to hear this thing that I sent out to a few of my buddies this weekend. So, like, one of the great Christian writers of all time is Spurgeon. So Spurgeon, his writings were from a long time ago, but it goes, war will always rage between the two great sovereignties until one or other be crushed. Peace between good and evil is an impossibility. The very pretense of it would in fact be the triumph of the powers of darkness. Michael will always fight. His holy soul is vexed with sin and will not endure it. Jesus will always be the dragon's foe, and that not in a quiet sense, but actively, vigorously, and with full determination to exterminate evil. All his servants, whether angels in heaven or messengers on earth, well and must fight. They are born to be warriors. At the cross they enter into covenant never to make truce with evil. They are warlike company, firm in defense and fierce in attack. The duty of every soldier in the army of the Lord is daily, with all his heart, all his soul, all his strength, to fight against the dragon. The dragon and his angels will not decline the fray. They are incessant in their onslaughts, sparing no weapon. We are foolish to expect to serve God without opposition. The more zealous we are, the more sure we are to be assailed by the myrmidons of hell. The church may become slothful, but not so her great antagonist. His restless spirit never suffers the war to pause. He hates the woman's seed and would fain devour the church if he could. The servants of Satan partake much of the old dragon's energy and are usually an active race. War rages all around, and the dream of peace is dangerous and futile. Glory be to God, we know the end of the war. The great dragon shall be cast out and forever destroyed. Let us sharpen our swords tonight and pray the Holy Spirit to nerve our arms for conflict. Never battle so important, never crown so glorious. Every man to his post. So it's funny. I sent that to some buddies this weekend around a similar topic of addiction. And hearing you speak of just the daily battle and just that 30-year battle of just being attacked by the enemy. It's crazy, man.
That's in the Bible what you just read?
There's parts of this from the Bible, but this is from Spurgeon, just rewriting it.
What's Spurgeon?
So C.H. Spurgeon, he's a theologian, I believe from like the 1850s.
Whoa.
Yeah, the enemy's been crushing people for a long time. Hey guys, I did want to interrupt for a quick minute right here and let you know about some supplements I've been taking. I did shy away from supplements for a long time. I was always cautious about what they were made out of, where they were from, and who the team was behind the brands. But over the last couple of years, I've got to meet the team at Mountain Ops from top to bottom, and they are an amazing group of humans. I've got to know the CEO, Trevor Farnes, really well, and he is a mission-focused individual that cares about humans living a better quality of life so that they can have that abundant life. So over the last couple of years, he has helped me add some things that have changed the game for me. One of those things that I've added is creatine from Mountain Ops. It helps me maintain some muscle mass, but also it's a big player in cognitive function, one of the most researched supplements out there. Also, I've added reds, greens, and protein, all from Mountain Ops. What I found as a busy professional, always on the run, I do eat a whole foods diet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but on the go, it's hard to get enough vegetables, fruits, and protein. So I've added that from Mountain Ops, and it has significantly changed the game. I can feel it in my performance. I haven't got sick for a long time, and I can certainly feel it in my mental clarity as well. The last thing I've added is the Mountain Tough Hydrate product for the backcountry, for hunting season. When I'm in the hills, I do run short on those electrolytes. We even have a Mountain Tough flavor, the Mountain Tough Lemon Lime Hydrate, and that is a game changer for hydration in the backcountry. So I keep it really simple. That is all I've added to my protocol, and it has certainly helped me, and I certainly believe in the team and the culture behind Mountain Ops. They have started an initiative that's been around for a while called Conquer Hunger. Conquer Hunger is giving meals to hungry kids that aren't getting enough food, and they've given out over 6 million meals plus to kids through their Conquer Hunger initiative. So every order that happens at Mountain Ops, a percentage of that order goes to Conquer Hunger. So certainly an incredible company, an incredible culture. As a listener to the show, you do get an exclusive offer to Mountain Ops, so make sure you check that out. The offer is incredible as a first-time purchase at mountainops.com. So build your order if it's your first time. They are offering you a 20% exclusive discount. All you need to do is enter the promo code Mountain Tough, all one word, all caps, for 20% off your first order at mountainops.com.
See, that's the other thing. I wake up every morning, I pray. I ask God what should I do today? I've got a lot of things on my plate lately that are usually things that I would find would depress me, which turns to anger, and then that would have me potentially lash out in irrational ways, therefore ruining my future. And now it's like, if I'm gonna skate, if I'm gonna do a trick, I better have been skating a lot before I do this trick I haven't done. If I have a fight coming up, you better be in the gym training. Like if you think you're going to bench more than you've ever benched this Saturday, you better do some bench pressing before you go there.
Mhm.
And all these things that I've always known, but haven't applied it to my day-to-day just life living around my children and the people that I care for. Like that's how I do it. Like I wake up every morning and I sharpen my blades
Yep.
for whatever comes. And it's a miracle, man, because like the things that have happened to me recently, like I'm moving to Utah, that would have been depressing to me because I was like, somebody's going to give me a place to stay for really cheap. I was a millionaire. I live in a house that I have a pool. Like I don't want to give up the pool because if I give up the pool, then my persona of like a guy that's accomplished and has a pool will be gone.
Mhm.
Now I'm like,
Who cares?
I don't give a shit what you think. Like and it's also starting to turn out where I'm like, dude, if I wake up in the morning and I go hang out with horses on a field in the morning, like that destroys a pool. And I'm not gonna, I don't care if you see it or anyone care. Like I just all these things that I used to think without them, I'm nothing, which is also such a big sign that you use all this stuff to run, like who are you really without it? Because in the end, you can't take any of this with you. Like,
Yep.
what are you? And I'm like, I'm a good guy. And I love my girlfriend. I love my kids. I got a couple of friends. Not as like, boy, has that changed in the last 2 years. And at first, that was tough to think, what happened to all my buddies? And I'm like, they're never, no offense, but they were never really your true friends. And now these people that are just out of nowhere, like Brian that John's talking about, Brian's one of my best friends. I love that guy.
Mm.
And when I first met him, I was like, like we're not gonna get along. John plays the worst music I've ever heard in my entire life. I wanted to kill him in the car. I love the guy. He's a good dude. Like he's a good guy, and you can count on him. You can tell you can count on him. And that's like
Thank you.
something that I would not even really look for in a friend. It would be more like, how cool is he? Like how far has he jumped on a dirt bike, or like how many knockouts has he had? Like stupid stuff. Like how many movies has he been in? Like douche stuff. And now I'm like, hey, are you a good dude? If someone needs help, would you be there for him? And it's funny how many people I now associate with that are exactly that. Like exactly where I know if I needed help, they'd be there,
Mm. That's
It's
awesome.
just it's just not, the LA scene, it's like I've been in this for 20 years, man. It's like, I'm doing a comedy show in LA. Nobody comes. I do a comedy show in Alberta, Canada. I sell out because people used to listen to the radio show. They love Ellis. I'm like, what about the people that I hang out with all the time that I've been friends with? Oh man, I'd love to, but I'm a little busy. I'm like, it's 15 minutes to the comedy store, you asshole. Just show up. They don't.
John, when
Dude,
you
I
go ahead.
no, I listened to that, and dude, your reaction after hearing what you were reading, Dustin, I was like, man, that's we made a hard right into Heavyville over here, and I was watching your expression on the screen here, and at the end when you're like, is that in the Bible? No. Yeah, man. I could almost smell the flames burning in your head,
Dude, I know.
and the gears turning, man. No, I am so excited for your journey. And the best part is if you're watching this film, you're not too late to that journey, because I'm sure the first 6 months of that was kind of a shit show. And and then I met you probably maybe a year and 2 months into this, and to see that to where you've come now, knowing that really this is just the preview to it all, and you're getting the right people in your life. I like to think myself as a good guy. I know that Brian is a good guy. The people that he associates with are. There's just so many good people in this. I'll tell you what, Mountain Tough, to plug Dustin's organization. Every year they do Tough Fest up in Bozeman. And last year I couldn't go because I was overseas. But the year before that, I went up there, and you have what, about 200 people there, Dustin?
Yep.
And the way that they do it is a fitness competition. They put letters on your hands, right? And if you're team A, you got to walk through that entire room of 250 people or however many there were there and find other people with the letter on their hand. And you have to introduce yourself with everybody. By the time I left, everybody up there was not one person I wouldn't say is a good person. I mean, and you really do become the average of your top five friends. And so when you walk into a situation where everybody in the room's a good person, you're going to succeed on some level. And I'm just really excited that LA's cool, but it's also kind of known for that kind of shallow, what's in it for me kind of mentality. And that's not everybody that lives there, but it's kind of synonymous with that, especially in the show business world. And
show business, I was gonna say, when you say LA people, because I travel, everybody, there's assholes everywhere and there's beautiful people everywhere, but a lot of people move to LA to be famous. And if you want to be famous, you haven't figured it out yet. Like, to me, that's the scariest thing. That's my career. Those are my skill sets. And to be like, I don't want to be famous anymore is trying to say I don't want to earn a living is almost what I'm saying. Like, I'm moving to Utah. I want to teach people boxing in Utah. I want to teach kids how to skate in Utah. That's not going to make me famous. That's not going to get me paid anywhere near the money that I was looking at when I was on the radio and doing all this other stuff. But I now realize that it's with people that think I'm cool from seeing me do stuff, they don't really care. Like, I talked to my girlfriend about this the other day. I go, who's somebody that you think is really cool, like a famous person that you've always admired, you think they're great? And she said an actress, and I was like, if she died today, I really hope not, but if she did, could you go to dinner with me tonight? And she was like, well, yeah. And I'm like, right. What if, I hate saying this, but what if your mother passed away? Would you want to go to dinner with me tonight? And she was like, no, I'd probably be. I'm like, right, because you love your mother. You know your mom. You care about your mom. You know your mom cares about you. You don't know this chick. You think she's cool because she's on TV, but you don't know and you don't really care. Being famous is fake love. And when people are so attracted to it and thinking that when that happens, they're going to feel whole. So my first sponsor told me, he's like, you're trying to fill a watermelon hole in your heart with oranges.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's a good saying.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I've always been trying to do. It's like this thing, people move to LA so they can be famous, so that the world can love them. They don't really love you. I'm not saying I'm very appreciative of the fans that I have, but they don't really know me and I don't know them. It's not real love. So thinking that this is like the be all end all is when you've made it and everybody recognizes you on the street. I did Skankfest the other day. And that's like this comedy thing where everybody there knows us.
Thank you for clarifying. I was wondering what you're
They all knew me. And I hated it. You couldn't go anywhere without someone wanting to get a photo and say some weird stuff to you. And I was like, could you imagine? Again, I told my girlfriend, I was like, could you imagine if my world was Skankfest? Like, everywhere I went, on airports, everything, people could not contain themselves to start freaking out and want to take a photo, push your kids out of the way to take a photo, because that's how it is to be really famous. And if you want that, you are not thinking right. That's not what it's about. That's like, I don't want to play it down too hard, but it's kind of a curse. Like, imagine if you couldn't go anywhere without being recognized. You had to have a conversation about something that you don't really care about, that you did 7 years ago, that someone wants to relive because they saw you do it in a movie.
It's wild.
Kind of bad, but like, people don't get it and they want it. A lot of people want to be famous in LA because they have the same affliction I have, where it's like, I don't feel loved. I don't love myself. If I make this really cool thing, you'll all love me. And it's like, it's really sad. So
It
it's like,
is.
that's why these people don't come through for you because they're like, yeah, I guess that you're my friend, but like, really, it's more like I have Jason Ellis's phone number, but I'm not going to make it to the comedy show because, I'm busy thinking about myself. Again, I
Mhm.
don't hate him for it. I understand. I've been in those shoes. I get it.
Dude, you were coming to my town. I was like, dude, I'm going and I'm bringing friends. And I reached out to a bunch of people. The funniest thing that I don't know if I ever told you this, the two guys that I brought were the two gay guys down the street. And the first half hour of that show, I was like, I wonder if they're ever going to talk to me again. You're making all kinds of crazy jokes, like, oh god. But they were like your biggest fans, dude. Like Patrick, he was freaking out to meet you. He goes, I listen to him all the time. Like, you want to go back to the green room? He's like, oh yeah. Can I? I'm like, I think so. I think so.
John, what have you seen from feedback from the hook and barrel community, people seeing the film? I think about like nationally, America is at an all-time high, record-breaking high of addiction, alcoholism, substance abuse, anxiety, depression. And this film unknowingly is a recovery piece. And has the community reached out about that? Are you seeing some positive breakthrough there?
I have not personally had any of the recovery community reach out to me. What I've had is a lot of people in the hunting community reach out to me. And with the exception of a few that were, expecting more, killing in the show, who clearly didn't get what it was about, there's a lot of extremely good feedback about how we're changing what hunting and fishing films and media should be. Because, like in the press release we put out about it, we focus so much on the hunt and not the hunter. And I think in today's world, we all want to know about that hunter or about that person. And we look at a lot of the TV shows and like the tabloids. It's always about what's going on in somebody's life. Well, if you're able to couple that with a great story and basically, fulfill the need that everybody wants right now, but with something positive, but also make a positive impact in an industry that's hung its hat on dead deer on the cover of magazines for years, rather than, okay, tell me about the guy who shot this. What did you guys talk about between? Because when you hunt, the shot is as a fraction of a second. The rest of it is spending time. And so that feedback has been incredible. But I think what wowed me the most was how quickly this thing gained traction. We're just south of 18,000 views, which is really high for a hunting and fishing film released on YouTube. Next, it climbed to the 44th most hyped video on YouTube. And that sent it into the algorithm as a very important film. So that started going. And then if you read the comments, and typically I don't read the comments, but given the subject nature of this film, I had my team go through that and monitor what was going on. And 95% of them were just extremely supportive in the feedback there. So I don't know how many of those people, to answer your question, are from the recovery community, but those that showed up, it was just an incredible feedback about the film in general. And it kind of, we set the bar a little bit when we did Chase Rice and The Chase, from a production value, and we got into his story. But now, I mean, I was telling my team, I'm like, this thing is incredible. Like I still watch it over and over again, because not because I am being egotistical about it. I'm watching it over and over again because the story and the guys over at Ghost Cat, Tyler Ray and Luke and John Bash and those guys, they did such an incredible job with the filming, and then the story, and then the music, and all the things that were involved in it, just gives me chills every time I watch it. And it's like I'm almost having this out of body experience, like that it's not really mine, that I'm actually just watching the film that somebody put out. And it was yeah, I mean, the feedback has just been incredible. And I can't wait to actually get to like SHOT Show, where now you're in a room of the industry to see what the industry has to say. I mean, I've had some CEOs reach out to me, but I can't wait to see what they think about this, because I mean, it's not. I love the old time hunting videos, but if you watch this, it's not an old time hunting video whatsoever.
No, yeah, it really makes me think of brotherhood too, because the general consensus nationally now is that men struggle majorly with isolation. So we're a more connected world than ever before, but that is not real connection. It's false and artificial. And so that's led to an epidemic of loneliness, especially with men. But men that do some hunting often know that like some of their best brothers are from the hunting community, and so much of that is because not the time you're actually hunting, but as you said, it's like the drive to the hunt, the hanging out in between and after the hunt, the meal time, the coffee in the morning. And then if you can add some adversity where you're working through some adversity together, you do start to form this brotherhood. And the brotherhood of hunting breaks a lot of that isolation that a lot of America is struggling with. That's why we're seeing kind of a skyrocket trend of people backcountry hunting. The Western states, for the first time ever, is not only is it scratching that itch for the outdoors and hunting, but it's creating these micro brotherhoods that men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are really searching for, because they don't exist in many places anymore like they did 50 years ago. And I think it comes out that is kind of a component of it too, where Jason, you're able to open up on that porch the way that you did. The way that you did that showed me that there had already been some trust built somewhere along the way.
It was the long drive with Nickelback playing. That's where most of the trust was built.
Nickelback, dude?
Yeah.
Come on, they're misunderstood.
For more than a century, America's sportsmen and women have led the way in paying for the restoration of wildlife, conserving habitat, and investing in the future of our natural world. This is a legacy built not on what we take ourselves, but on what we give back. That's the nature of conservation, paying it forward for the next generation. This is the reason Mountain Tough is a proud partner of Wild Sheep Foundation, an organization committed to keeping and putting wild sheep on the mountain. If you're not already a member, learn more today at wildsheepfoundation.org.
Oh man, I can't agree with that. I'm happy.
Watch the documentary. That's a great documentary.
I'm happy you like the music you like. I don't care. I used to think I was so cool, man, being a skateboarder. If you don't do what I do, you're not cool. And then I realized that is just such a facade. It's such an insecurity. When you really strip yourself down, you realize how you tick, It's like, I think I want to be in a cool group and think I'm cool because I'm terrified that people are going to know who I really am. And it's like, I like stuff that people don't like. Who cares? Like if you like some music that everyone else can't stand, who cares? It really does. Like if you like it, that's the biggest one. I think a lot of people wear and do things that they think impresses the group that they're in. You're not you. You don't even know who you are. So I'm like, I wear whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
I since I started hanging out with horses, I wear a cowboy hat, and people are like, "You're not a real cowboy," and I'm like, I don't care. I don't. There's no argument. Maybe you're right. I don't care. I just know that I wear it when I go out with my horse, and like, am I a rancher? No. Like, am I?
But you got a horse.
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't matter. I'm like, what skate? It's like, if you skate and you're not really good, I could say you're not a real skateboarder. If you love skateboarding and you go to the skate park and skate, you're a skateboarder. There is no license for this. Like, you are, if you like it, you are. Like, if I go to the gym 5 times and I love boxing now, you're not a real fighter. Shut up. Like, your insecurities are screaming at me. Like, if you love it, go do it. Who cares what everyone else's opinion of it is?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Doesn't.
funny. It's funny you say that because my editor's note for January, February is entitled "This Year You Do You," and it lists all that out and it talks about inner peace and self love. And it's funny because I was on a podcast that my buddies and I do. I think it's more of a mental health thing than actual podcast. I think like 7 people listen to it, but my friend Talon was like, "Hey, can you look yourself in the mirror and say, do you love yourself?" Because we were talking about imposter syndrome, and like that's something that I struggle with. Like, how did I get to where I am at such a young age? I have people that are older than me working for me that's been around forever, award winners and stuff like that, and then there's just me, and I have this like level of imposter syndrome that I fight all the time, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I think I do. He goes, well, then that's all that matters. He goes, there's two people that you need to worry about loving you. He goes, one is always going to love you. He goes, that's Jesus, and two, it's yourself. And then everybody else falls in line afterwards. If you could be, first off, no matter what you do, Jesus still loves you. So right off, you got a friend. Second off, if you could look yourself in the mirror and be like, I love myself. It's going to ease a lot of this stuff. And you're right with the you do you thing too. Like, it is so important that people just do what they want. They look at me, we own a hunting and fishing magazine. Well, I must, love country music and wear starched Wranglers and got deer in the back of my truck at all times. But the reality of it is, dude, I love hip hop. I love metal. I love EDM and combinations thereof. I wear skinny jeans. I, wear suits. I would much rather wear a suit than camouflage. But at the end of the day, right now, guess what? In the back of my truck, there's a dead deer. No joke. Right now, I got to get it down to the processor. And that's just it. And you know what? People just need to get off, no pun intended, their high horse and be okay with it. Because at the end of the day, I'm doing the same thing you do. I just do it. I just look a little bit differently while I do it or act a little bit differently. And I think you nailed it, Jason. You really did.
Yeah, all I got from that is you got God. You know,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's what I get from. I go to me. I just had a big talk the other day. A bunch of people in my meeting commented after it because I was like, I'm sober, but I don't have a girlfriend. I'm working on it. So I'm all alone, but I'm working on it. I'm like, you're not alone. You're never alone. Like
I,
when you
I
got God, you
Dude.
don't like. I don't have. If it's not working out or people aren't downloading whatever podcast I did, I got a girlfriend. I'm very lucky. I love her. She loves me. She's a great person. I've never been able to say this. If I didn't have her, I'm not alone, you know? And I think a lot of us have this thing where if it's not going your way or I'm all by myself. Because I've always had that. I don't have family. My kids are little when I first moved over. When I first came here, I didn't have any kids. So if anything happened, if I broke up with my girlfriend or I got a divorce, first thing I thought was, you're all alone. And I'm not. I never was. It just
Never
took me
were.
a long time to accept that. And since I have, man, it's just this such crazy feeling of like, I'm just okay. I'm always okay.
I
That is
love it
awesome.
because when we were on that porch, you had shared a story about like how a ray of sunbeam hit your face and there was like some butterfly and your ex-girlfriend caught you praying and cussed you out. And even in our interview, you alluded to having some level of faith that you're getting into it. But just from that interview on that porch to now, like you're actually recognizing it, like saying the word God and Jesus, like just that what 7 months of growth has me just tickled. And then also too, dude, I've seen you like move your hand up and down. I noticed on your fingers now it says it looks like you have your girlfriend's name now on there. I mean, man, yes, I love it, dude. I'm so happy for you,
She's got Jason on her forearm. It's over, buddy. It's a wrap.
dude.
We're done.
Dang.
Look at the evolution, man. I'm getting chill bumps. Like it's awesome.
Restoration.
Restoration, yes.
It's practice, man. The more you work on it, the more you let go of the things that I relied on. That was the toughest part is I relied on, I get mad, I get evil, I get things done. I face my fears because I'll get mad at my fear and then I can face it. It was a good tool. I used it to be good at skateboarding. good at fighting, because I was like, fuck you, like I'll face it. And then thinking that love or God was just like a thing. It's like you're giving up, is what I thought. So it took a long time. The fear of like believing in God and thinking, if I believe in God, what if I'm really happy? Will I not like? Will I no longer face my fear? It's like I'm I don't. It's not even. I'm not scared of it anymore. There is no fear.
Yeah.
I just believe, and I'm still like, I'll go skate. I'm still pretty stupid when it comes to doing skateboard, fight things. But it's just I don't have to pump myself up anymore. I don't have to psych myself up. I don't have fear. I believe that whatever happens, if I had a financial thing where I'm like, whoa, we're in big trouble. I got to downsize. I got to do all these other things. And old me would have freaked out. But instead, I was like, God's wants me to do something about this. Like, what can we do? Let's make some moves. And now it looks like, God is steering me to be in the wilderness with horses and hunt with a bow. And this is not I never wrote this down. This is just like what I feel like God is telling me to do. So I don't feel like a lot of anxiety or fear about it. I don't have to be mad to face it. I'm kind of walking around with a smile on my face, looking forward to it. There is no bad part of this. Old me would definitely have seen you have been hit with some devastating news. But I'm like, this is exciting. Where are we going?
Dude, that's major progress. That's incredible
Right?
progress. It's like
Yeah.
you're understanding now that like his plan is better than your plan. And he's gonna take you on grand adventures that exceed like your wildest imagination. And it's exactly what he's doing right now.
I used to say that I would believe what you're saying, but now I know what you're saying. It's
You've seen it.
It's shifted into I don't have to say I believe. I know. Whatever happens, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It's
he's
gonna be
with
great.
you.
Got it. Yeah, exactly. This is pressure where I don't have to do it anymore. Gotta carry everybody. I'm gonna make it. You'll see. And it's like, see what? Like, just enjoy the ride. He's got you.
Man.
Yeah. Fear and faith don't coexist, man.
Yeah. Hey, it's pretty easy these days. It's very surprising.
So imagine what happens when you got God on your side, man. It's good.
Yeah, I heard it before, but I guess you gotta figure it out yourself. It's
Listen, if you show up to my house in a white shirt and tie, though, I'm really going to start questioning what's going on with Jason Ellis.
Yeah, be careful of that.
more like a coyote loincloth.
I'm still going to be worried then. Like, this is Dallas. It's not
You
that
should be
kind of
worried.
neighborhood.
Lucy was like, "Wait, you plan on riding past my house? Well, like I'll be out there drinking a coffee, and I'll see a giant tattooed guy with a coyote loincloth on with a fish onto his back." And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'll actually enjoy that. So you go ahead and you do that." So
It's epic.
It makes me think of there's a really famous study that's been cited on a lot of different literature, and it's a guy actually did a study with 2,000 hospice patients, so people that were on their deathbed with less than 2 weeks to live, and he went and he interviewed all 2,000, and he boiled down in his study, he boiled down their number one regret. So you have 2,000 people on their deathbed, and he interviews them all and summarizes it all into one thing. And their number one regret as they're about to pass away is they regretted that they lived a life for others, to please others, not the life of their own, not the life that they wanted to live. And that's what so many of us do. We try to fill holes in our heart with affirmation by being someone we're not. And you can get away with it for 40 years. And then you're laying on your deathbed and you're like, man, what if I would have done what I thought I should have done and been who I should have been? And then if I am my authentic self and people love me, they're loving the real me, not a different
Wow.
version of myself. And it's awesome, Jason, that you've made that pivot. You've made that change. It's incredible.
The biggest one, this is why I believe in God again. When I was first trying to get sober, I was in meetings, and I'm a big, scary looking guy, and every time I talked, I'd cry because I'm full of pain, and I was desperate for help, really wanted to use, but I just kept going, and I was like pouring my heart out. And people tried to sponsor me, and I was like, I don't like this person, I don't like this person. And then one day I'm crying, and this big tattooed shaved head guy, he like flexes his muscle and points at me. And I'm like, does this guy want to fight me? Because that's where I come from. Like, are we fighting after this meeting?
No.
And I go, okay, dude. And I'm like, I'm not sure if it's like this is gonna give me, he's gonna give me advice, he wants to be my sponsor, or we're fighting in the parking lot. I'm not sure which one. And then I see him look at the roof, and I can totally tell he's talking to God. He's saying, thank you, God, for bringing this other tattooed asshole to me. I know he's thinking that. We start talking. He becomes my sponsor. Um, he passed away like a week before I made it to 1 year, but he had a heart transplant. And I have a heart condition, but when he spoke about he had a heart transplant, and it was 9 years, and they only last 10. So every time I would talk to this guy about my problems, he would talk to me. I didn't realize at the time, but he was talking to me in a way where this might be his last day. So when you feel like that, you don't bullshit.
Yeah.
You talk about it like what can you do today to be a good man and to help other people, because that's what's important. Because before I go, I just want to make sure my kids are cool. Like what I've apologized for all the wrongs I've done. Like, and that's how he spoke. And he told me this story. I'll never forget. It scared the crap out of me. He's like, I used to be a club owner in Miami. I had a mansion, fancy cars, all kinds of fancy motorcycles, all different kinds of women in and out of my house. Thought I had it all. And now, I got some crappy Toyota Camry. I love my car. I love my life. I work in a sober living community. And all I thought from it when he first said that was, I don't want to have a crappy Toyota Camry. That's all I thought, was like, wait, this guy's happy with nothing. I don't want to be happy with nothing, because I had not figured it out yet. I was still in this stage where I was like, that sounds terrible. And now I get it. Like, I get what he was saying. At the time, I was like, all I hear is, I don't like Toyota Camrys. I don't want that. I like my car. It goes real fast. I never want to give that car up. But what he's saying is, these material possessions, they will consume you, and you will not know who you really are until you like let it go. It doesn't mean they're going to go. It just means you've got to be willing to accept that if it isn't there, that doesn't do anything for you. Like, if I'm talking to you guys right now, I'm not in my car. My car is not me.
Yeah.
Whatever's out in the driveway that gets me to the grocery store, that'll do,
Yeah.
Just like this thing that I never realized. And that took 2 years. Another year later, where I was like, oh, yeah. And like I said, I've let go of my manager recently, and like looked at my all my business stuff, and was like, oh, this needs to stop immediately. We're not living like this anymore. You can't afford it. Good. Let's get it done. Not, oh no. You know what I mean? The house has fallen down. It was like, let's get it done. Let's do it. We'll make it. No big deal. Just get your head down, start working. You might find out that you're actually happy you're doing this other thing. And like, whether it is going to happen or not, I'm pretty happy one way or the other. It's all working out.
Well, man,
So happy for you.
I appreciate you both, John, Jason. We are out of time, but I just want to close with, I'm proud of you guys, proud of the film. I think it's going to help a lot of people and open up a lot of phenomenal conversations around hunting and addiction and recovery, and the world that can help in so many different angles. So love what you guys did, even though it was not intentional. It was by design, and just this conversation alone, letting people know about the restoration with God is powerful, and it wouldn't have happened without that film. So love you guys. Thank you guys, and appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Dustin.
Yeah. Wow, what an interesting conversation with Jason and John. Make sure you check out that film, Skate or Die, on Hook and Barrel's YouTube when you get a chance. It is super interesting and different than I think John expected, different than Jason expected. It's certainly different than I expected when watching the film. I thought it was about a former pro skateboarder going coyote hunting, but as you can see, it's much more than that, and even John had no idea creating that film on the front end that it would be about sexual abuse, it would be about alcohol, drugs, fame, fortune. And then hearing from Jason today, this is about 7 months after the release of that short film. You can even see that he's changed a lot in the 7 months between now and when that was made. He is 2 years into his sobriety journey, and he is aware that there's a higher power. He's talking to God. He's walking with God. He is not caring about the affirmation of others. He's living for himself now, and he's really focused on forgiving himself, forgiving those that he has hurt. So very interesting story, very interesting real world kind of testimony of how someone can see restoration after 30, 40 years of alcohol and drug abuse from extreme trauma. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Love you guys, and we will see you on the next episode.